Lao Tse was said to have been born as a grown man, with a fully gray beard and long ears, which are symbols of wisdom and long life in China. He was born in 4th century BC, and Lao Tse influenced many people throughout the Chinese history. He was a writer, a poet, and philosopher, meaning a lover of wisdom. He had a great deal of influence on Chinese scholars and culture. Lao Tse supported limited government, reasoning that political power could oppose culture and the community. Some historical accounts say he was a peer of the famous Chinese philosopher Confucius. Although Lao Tse does not have as deep of an influence as Confucius does in China, he is still widely respected by the Chinese. Confucius and Lao Tse are the best known Chinese philosophers in the Western world today.
Lao Tse is said to have been tired of life in the Zhou dynasty court as it grew increasingly and morally corrupt. So he left, riding a water buffalo to the western border of the Chinese Empire. Although he was dressed as a farmer, the border official recognized him and asked him to write down his wisdom. According to legend, what Lao Tse wrote became the sacred text called the Tao Te Ching. After writing this, Lao Tse is said to have crossed the border and disappeared from history.
Thou means what you are, and it describes very nicely that when you are that, what happens. Now the gap was how to achieve that state, how to reach that state was not given. He only described people who went down, who were realized souls, who were of whatever. And I was surprised that he never said about humanity, but he talked about the river Yangtze. That it is Yangtze river, this is a symbolic river, no remote way. But ultimately, reaching the ocean, that river becomes the ocean. And then, what are the qualities of the ocean? He describes so beautifully. Now, I would say you all have become supporting the ocean. Are you behaving like the ocean? Are you understanding your capacity to be an ocean? What is an ocean is? Look at the ocean. It has its own boundaries, maryadas, and disciplines. If you try to push it one side, it will come outside. So you have to be in your maryadas, we can call it also in your balance. That's very good. That you should be in your balance.
Now, you see, for this, best thing is to know about Tao, which is your speciality. It's Chinese, in which it describes, you see, Tao Lao Tse describes the journey through the river Yangtze. I went myself to see that. So he says on the side or the banks, there are beautiful, very beautiful mountains and beautiful trees, and it's so beautiful that you feel like jumping out of the boat and going to these gardens and these mountains. But what your aim is to go through this now is the Yangtze River, towards the river. So in the beginning, maybe there are some currents flowing. Maybe you might lose faith in yourself. But by the time you reach near the sea, it becomes very silent and you have to go to the sea. That's the point. So you see, all these are there. These are just enticing. It's all right to see, but it's nothing important. Because all this will keep you on a mental level. You'll be always thinking, what is this vision? What is that? There's nothing to be on the mental level. You have to go beyond. Alright?
Like in China, Confucius said that you must become very virtuous, righteous, because Chinese were lethargic farmers and you must work. Humanism, he started. But now they found out that now they are going too much towards it. So Lao Tse came. You see, they had to work it out because some people move like a pendulum on one side, then they have to move them on the other side. Lao Tse came, he talked of Tao. So all these great prophets tried to give you a balance, to give you the proper sense of law, of what?
In your country, you had very great philosophers once upon a time. Of course,
you believe in humanism, but there was another great philosopher who was called as Lao Tse, of a very high spirituality, like a great incarnation of a master. What he has written about, described about Yangtze is very interesting, because I went through the Yangtze River myself. And he calls it Tao, Tao, which actually is talking about Kundalini. He was a poet, so whatever he has described is rather subtle. And maybe they must have thought that it's better to understand other people than Tao, written by Lao Tse. But all over the world, you will find it is Tao which people respect very much, and they like to always interpret the meaning of the word Tao. Symbolically he has described that this river, Yangtze, is a difficult river to go through. And the surroundings, the banks of this river are extremely deep. You won't believe, for 12 hours I was sitting outside watching the beauty of the banks. I have never seen such beautiful mountains, trees, and the whole movement of nature is like an artist painting something. And all your paintings, most of them, I think, are impressed by that kind of, banks that I saw. Because I have studied your art, and I felt that the way you have shown in your art, that is mostly the bank of Yangtze River. But the symbolic thing is this, that in the beginning, it's a very difficult river. There are lots of currents. They form lots of circles during heavy tide, and it's very difficult to fly. Till it is for quite some time. You have to pass very carefully. Just about few hours when it reaches the sea, it becomes calm, absolutely calm. In the same way, the Tao that he describes is, in the beginning, according to him, is rather difficult. It is a remarkable thing that how he could see the Kundalini so much well defined as this Yangtze. It's an extremely very artistic, subtle idea.